In a world where hustle culture collides with wellness warnings and workplace demands keep evolving, how do we stay sharp without burning out? How do we navigate the endless stream of wellness trends while actually getting results? This is the Work and Wellness Podcast, and I'm your host, Ange Davis. Drawing from my own journey of wins, stumbles, and honest revelations, I'll be bringing you raw, unfiltered conversations with experts and inspiring guests who've been there, lived it, and found a better way. Together, we'll cut through the noise and workshop what it really means to be well in today's workplace. No more choosing between success and sanity. No more sacrificing health for achievement. Whether you're struggling with burnout, searching for purpose, or simply ready to work smarter, not harder, you're in the right place. This is real talk about real solutions for real people. Let's get into it. Hello, friends. Welcome to the show. Today's episode is on something that I feel like we don't talk about nearly enough, and that is joy. And I don't mean the joy of ticking something off a to-do list or, getting that little dopamine hit of doing something you've been meaning to do for a while. I mean deep, contagious, fun, footloose, and fancy-free joy. And the reason I want to talk about this today is because over the weekend, I went to the Mariah Carey, Pitbull, Eve, Lil Jon, Wiz Khalifa concert, and it was the most fun I think I have had all year. I danced the night away. I even feel like I cricked my neck from dancing too much. I sung until I lost my voice. Thank God it's back today. And I think I got about 3 photos and 2 videos all night because I was just having so much fun. I didn't care about what time we were there till, or I don't know about you. Sometimes I go to events and I want to leave before the last song or the last little bit so that I can get out before the traffic or the chaos. But I didn't think of any of that on the weekend. All I cared about was staying to the very end, hearing the very last Mariah Carey song. And if you know me, you know I am a huge Mimi fan, and she absolutely lived up to all expectations. But walking out of that concert, I just had a smile on my face from ear to ear, and I felt a lightness that I feel like I haven't had in a long time, and really a sense of truly being present and in the moment. I was not thinking of a single nother thing when I was in that concert, just Liam and I dancing the night away and having so much fun. And it just made me think a little bit, how often do we actually give ourselves permission to just have fun? Not because we have to, or it's part of a wellbeing program, or because it's productive, but simply just because it feels good. And I think as adults, we can be guilty of getting caught up in the seriousness of life. I certainly can, and I think we all can. We move through our weeks full of deadlines and responsibilities and expectations, and somewhere along the way, fun becomes a reward for getting through the hard stuff instead of just being a part of life itself, and instead of almost being the whole point of life. And sometimes I think there can be a little bit of a cultural guilt around giving ourselves permission to experience joy. Like if we're laughing too hard or taking too much time off, we're being unproductive. But joy isn't distraction from life. It's not unproductive. It's actually a vital ingredient for our mental health and our performance, but it's also just really bloody good for the soul. On Friday, I took the entire day off work. I taught a couple of Pilates classes in this morning, but other than that, I didn't do any work, and I just gave myself permission to enjoy the day, go and get my makeup done, get dressed, go out to the concert. We got back to the hotel at like 1 a.m. Queensland time, which is 2 a.m. our time. And we're having wraps, watching Real Housewives at 1 o'clock in the morning. And it was just so much fun. But I do want to share the science of this as well, not just recount my fun time at the concert. And from a psychological perspective, joy actually activates one of the most powerful chemical cocktails in the brain. So joy activates dopamine, which motivates us and rewards us. It also releases endorphins, which elevate our mood and can relieve stress, and oxytocin, which is like our feel-good hormone. It increases our strength of connection and bonding. And research from the University of Oxford actually found that people who engage in activities that spark joy, like singing, dancing, or laughing, have lower levels of cortisol, which is our stress hormone. It's also been shown that joyful activities improve creativity and problem solving. So when we're playful, we're not just happier, but we're actually smarter and more adaptive and more creative. In workplaces, leaders who cultivate joy within their teams see higher engagement, better collaboration, and stronger performance. So joy is not just good for the soul, it's good for our performance and good for business. So I guess how do we bring more moments of joy into everyday life? You know, Mariah Carey's not coming back to Australia anytime soon. So what are some ways that we can bring joy into our everyday lives so that it doesn't have to be a big event, but it can actually just be the micro moments that we can experience some joy and fun in everyday life? So the first one is moving to music. So put on a song that uplifts you. For me, those songs took me right back to Y2K, the early 2000s. What me and my friend were texting each other, we were both at the same concert, but in different areas, saying we feel like we're in a festival circa 2007. So whatever that music is for you that has a little bit of nostalgia and fun, put some music on and just dance around the house. No one's watching anyway, so you might as well just enjoy yourselves. And I actually read something the other day. Now, it's not a scientific study, but it talked about how dance and song were a really big part of our ancestors' way of communicating and connecting. And as we've sort of transitioned through society and age and time, that's been lost a little bit, but it's such an important part of connection and mental health and well-being. And so it's something that I really feel like is important for us as human beings and can really help us to connect in with ourselves and connect with others. The second one sounds a little bit funny, but laugh on purpose. So go online and find something funny. Put on a comedy show on YouTube of a comedian that you love, or share a funny story on Instagram with a friend. Whatever that looks like, just sharing something funny and making you laugh is a really good way to get a micro moment of joy. Liam, my husband, is very good at this. He finds these hysterical videos on YouTube. He loves watching people get scared. And I love seeing how much he finds it hilarious because he cries with laughter watching things like that. And so laughing on purpose is really, really powerful. So find a comedian, find something that makes you laugh that's funny, and just carve out a little bit of time for that in every day. It might even be in a work break where you feel like you just can't sort of focus or continue with your flow, and take some time out and do that. Be playful with others. So whether it's going and playing some tennis or being silly with your kids or your friends, play helps us reconnect with the light-hearted part of ourselves, the childlike part of ourselves. So go and do something playful, silly with friends or family. Connect with beauty. So moments of awe are really great for joy as well. So joy doesn't always have to be loud. Connecting with moments of joy can sometimes just be quiet awe. So one of my most joyful things is when it's whale season where I live and I just walk down to the beach and I get such joy and awe when I see the whales. Like, it will never cease to amaze me seeing whales breach and jump, or dolphins right on my home beach. And I think, finding something like that for you where you experience those moments of awe can be fantastic for joy. And then this sounds like it defeats the purpose a little bit, but schedule in joy. Put something in your calendar purely for fun and treat joy like a non-negotiable meeting with your well-being. Liam and I love to do silly things like we'll go to Time Zone and play games, or we'll go bowling or to putt-putt. Just really silly things that sort of help to bring you joy and that you're doing for no reason other than the fact that it is fun and enjoyable and it lights you up and it brings up that inner child in you. When I think back to the concert on the weekend, it really did remind me that joy doesn't just make life feel better, it actually works better, because when we're joyful, we're more present and our mind stops racing and we connect more deeply and we breathe easier. Although I don't know how easy I was breathing, belting my lungs out to Mariah Carey. But it really does create a sense of presence in us when we experience joy. And so for people who maybe struggle to meditate or struggle with mindfulness, maybe finding bits of joy in everyday life is a really good way for you to experience presence as well, which is really important. So my challenge to you this week is to ask yourself, when was the last time I did something just because it brought me joy? And if you can't remember, maybe that's your sign to schedule in some joyful time. So you might want to move to music, laugh on purpose, find a comedian or a funny video, be playful with others, connect with beauty and experience moments of awe, or schedule in something silly that you love doing. I do want to share 2 books which I think are really helpful and interesting on the subject. The first one is The Happiness Advantage by Sean Acor. And the core premise of this book is that success doesn't create happiness, it's that happiness creates success. And so it's based on positive psychology research from Harvard. And the book shows how optimism, gratitude, and joy improve cognitive performance, creativity, and resilience. So it is a really good link to why joy is great for you. I'm not saying do it for that, but you get those ancillary benefits of experiencing joy in your performance and your work. And then the other book I really love is Atlas of the Heart by Brené Brown. And this book is really designed at helping people be more emotionally aware and emotionally intelligent. It names 87 human emotions and experiences, joy being one of them. And it talks about how language helps us make meaning and connection. So it's a really great book for people to be able to dive deeper into really understanding different emotions and how they can describe them to others as well. So it's really science-based, but like with anything Brené Brown, it's also empathetic, and it sort of helps us to articulate the nuances of emotion really beautifully and helps us to communicate with others on how we're feeling as well. So I love those 2 books. Joy is a really great section within that book. But I really do think that this weekend was such a wonderful reminder to me to not take life so seriously. I think Liam and I are so good at always just having fun and going out there and doing different things and experiencing different adventures, but really just letting yourself go and experience joy. I feel like I just have not done that in the same way as I did this weekend all year. And it's a really good reminder to get out there and just have some fun, because whilst there are serious parts of life, Lord knows I have experienced them over the last 2 months, there are also some really beautiful and fun parts, and we should actively seek those and not feel guilty when we do, not feel like we're not being productive, because I've given you the science that it is productive anyway. So, I encourage you to go out there, schedule some joy, have some fun, and feel free to share in the comments what you have done to experience joy this week. I would love to hear it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me on Work and Wellness. If today's episode resonated with you, remember, someone in your network might need to hear this too. Share it with a colleague or friend who could use these insights. I'd love to keep the conversation going, so find us on Instagram at Mind Your Grit, where we share daily tips and continue these discussions. And if you found value in today's episode, please take time to rate and review the show. It makes such a huge difference and helps other people discover conversations they might really need. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. Each week, we're building a community of people who believe that success and well-being go hand in hand. You can find the notes, resources, and links from today's episode at mindyourgrit.com. This is Work and Wellness with Davies. Your work matters, your wellness matters, and this is where it all comes together. See you next week.